Hi guys, I am on here for another informal video. I wanted to share with you guys a debrief of my Kickstarter experience trying to bring about my Mod Ambition Planner project as a manifestation coach. So this is going to be deep, and I'm hoping that sharing what I've learned in my experience can help inspire and motivate, as well as just some really practical lessons if you are in your own journey of Kickstarter, if that's how you happen to come upon this video, but as well as if you're manifesting any type of goal. I hope this little informal video is helpful to you. So let me just jump right in so I don't get to rambling. I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Mariel. If you're new here, I'm a neuropsychologist. I'm a published author and the founder of Mod Ambition. I make videos on how to plan, manifest, and enjoy your dream life. If you like any of those topics, please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my videos. So I do have my notes here that I am going to be referring to just to make sure I do talk about everything that I wanted to talk about. Mostly I want to talk to you guys about the project was not successful. It was unsuccessful, or as I call it, I think, and how I'm continuing to vibrate high, how I'm continuing to try to manifest my goal of creating a planner company on my journey of manifesting entrepreneurial success. I want to talk to you about how I'm continuing to believe in my dream and how I'm moving forward. The first thing that I wanted to share is my story of why I created the planner in the first place. So what the project was. Essentially, I created something called the Mod Ambition Planner, which was a goal planner that had a whole goal setting workbook at the beginning, as well, and I'll put pictures of it here, as well as quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily planning for the entire quarter. And so the planner project on Kickstarter, you have the option of just getting the quarter planner. You could also get refills, and then there was an opportunity to get coaching with me. So I created the planner. So basically I have been teaching manifestation to women for coaching on the side of my full-time job as a neuropsychologist for the last 2 or 3 years. I think it's been about 3 years now, which is amazing. And what I have constantly attracted into my coaching business, the women that I've been working with are ambitious women. And so I was teaching them a lot of things to manifest goals, seeing them have good results. And what started happening was they wanted more support and more know-how. I started talking to them a lot about implementing all the mindset tools I was teaching them, staying on track with their goals, those types of things. And out of that came a principle, which at the time when I first started offering it, I called the Manifestation Planner Printable, which I also really loved that. And that became really successful on my shop because I was just telling people about it on YouTube. I was offering it to my clients in Dream Life Academy. And then I was, so I had the listing on my store and it was doing pretty well. And I was like, wouldn't it be great to not have to print this every time I needed new printables, or wouldn't it be great to offer this to my clients as a physical product? Maybe other women out there would just like to buy the planner. It's a more affordable option than just working with me, which depending on your budget could be expensive to be in my coaching program. This is something I could offer people that uses my system of manifesting, uses my system of goal setting, of tracking, of doing the conscious work, the mindset tools, all those things into one. So that's why I started creating this planner. And then I also thought, well, if I'm going to do a planner, I'm not going to I don't want it to just be like, something you order on Alibaba and just plug and play. Like, I wanted to create a brand around it, a whole sort of company dedicated to helping ambitious women, and that would be my starter product, is this planner. And then however else I could help women, I could add to the company as it grew, but my initial way of helping is going to be through this planner, and I want to do it in a way that's branded and speaks to my design aesthetic and is not just a plug and play. And that is how it was born. I also wanted all my pins, so I started solving all my pain points. I wanted my pens in the same place, but I didn't really necessarily want a pen bag at that time. I wanted my stickers in one place. I wanted to be able to access my pens and stickers no matter what page I was on. I wanted it to be large because I like large planning pages because I'm a grown woman with big goals. I like to say I'm a grown woman with big goals. So I wanted the pages to have enough space to not feel constricted. So I designed according to a lot of pain points from me, but also my clients that had planners and used planners at the same time. So that's how I started off creating this planner. That's why I started creating this planner. And with that said, I decided, I want to make sure, so I had a business beforehand called Conscious Life Shop where I sold meditation cushions. And the biggest hurdle for me in that business was inventory, keeping up with demand. I was out of stock a lot, which if you hear out of stock, you think it's a good thing. It's really not a good thing because that means you're not keeping up with the flow of your business, or you don't have enough income coming in before you can make your next order, or it's just really tough supply chain, which it was for this company because their large meditation cushions are very heavy and large. So shipping is kind of a nightmare, and you want to make sure you have the demand. So I was thinking, I want to make sure before I invest in inventory, because at this point I'm afraid of inventory, make sure that people want this before I invest in it. So why don't I do a Kickstarter? I did find this company called Launch Boom, who they have an agency side that does Kickstarter projects for folks, but you can also buy their course and implement everything that they teach on your own. And that's what I did. And I feel like even though my project was unsuccessful, it was not due to the course, which I'll talk about a little bit. It was due to different challenges I had, outside of that, which I'm going to share with you guys. So they taught me how to basically create a list for my project to launch to. So through Facebook ads and different organic marketing, how can you create a list to launch to and have VIPs, so you have a good idea of people not only have a list to launch to, but how many people are really going to purchase or pledge for your Kickstarter. And it's really hedged on the numbers, getting the numbers right on that scene as far as your pre-launch goes. I built a list of about 5,000 people for my company using their strategy. I liked it because, and I have a video on online courses that I've taken if you want to watch it. They have 3 calls a week. You can ask them any questions. They look behind the scenes in your Facebook ads. There's an amazingly helpful community, so I don't want to dissuade anyone from using them, and they have a lot of success stories as well. So moving on to the lessons and why it didn't work for me. So the first lesson I learned, and a lot of these revolve around this idea of I designed this planner for me and the women that I work for, or that work with me, which are kind of affluent, I would say, women. So the first thing that I learned though for the market of planners overall is that my planner was overly priced, and I didn't give size options. So I like to plan with large pages, but not everybody likes that. I can try to give my argument as to why I like it, but that's just not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So maybe having different size options would have helped, and also making the price more accessible. So I would have paid that price for a goal planner with 3 months of planning and quarterly planning that looked that great, which the Kickstarter price was $89, and I had $5,000 worth of pledges. So there were about 50 other people that agreed with me, but my goal was 10,000. So I only got about halfway of my goal. But other people wanted a more affordable option, and we are moving into a recession. So, when I first started designing the planner, we weren't really in like almost recession point, but the point at which we got to launching the Kickstarter, times have changed, let's say that. So that was my first important lesson. So when I relaunch it, I'm going to make sure it's at a much more accessible price point and potentially give size options if I can. Another thing that hindered my launch is I had to launch before I had the numbers I needed to get. So the idea behind this pre-launch strategy is you have a certain amount of numbers on your list of people that you're going to launch to before you launch. And I had to launch before that. Even though I had 5,000 people, I needed more, and I specifically needed more VIPs, because if I hadn't had launch, I wouldn't have had time to get everything manufactured if we did reach our goal by the new year. And most people want planners at the new year, so that was already an original mistake. Well, not mistake, but I guess challenge, is because things took me longer than expected to launch the Kickstarter. I had to push it back. I was testing Facebook ads longer than I expected to test to find the right, one. There's a whole formula to it. So that was a major thing. So the price, the size, the timing was another lesson. Another lesson that I had was to listen to my own intuition. And there was a point at which I felt like maybe I should rethink this price. And the reason I kept going is because this piece of the planner, which I'll show you guys, is an insert that has the pens and the sticky note and the bamboo acrylic, which I designed myself, which is, I think, super beautiful. And it just goes, let me show you guys, I have my planner outside, so it's always, your pens and stuff are always available. This pin box was what made the thing so expensive, because I had to get a mold for it, added to the price than what a typical planner would cost that doesn't have that, right? So that was one of my tuition. And the reason I didn't go back to the drawing board when I had that is because I was not getting a full picture on what the full price was going to be, because I was making so many changes. I have like 5 prototypes of this planner, and because I wanted it to be perfectly of what I envisioned. And I guess that's another lesson. I've read the book Lean Startup, and I know about a minimal viable product. Like, just make it like as simple as you can that still meets the demand of what people want and your vision, kind of not trying to add all the bells and whistles on your first product. Like, I know that concept, and so I didn't follow it. I didn't follow it at all. I kind of just had like my Kanye mind on. It's like, this is my vision, this is what I want. So things were already in motion. And then once I got the pictures of the planner that I finally decided on, I spent money on photo shoots and editing. I edited all the pictures myself. I took most of the pictures myself. I think I took all the pictures myself. Product photography, like setup, all that stuff. It was like, by the time I realized some of these things of like, maybe I should pause this and go back, I didn't listen to that intuition because I felt like I was so far in. And there's that heuristic in psychology that you talk about, like you try to make up for past loss by staying on the train, when really just, even though you've had some, it's gonna cost you, it's still better for you to like redirect yourself. So I didn't do that. So that was a big lesson, listening to my intuition, because there were many points that I was like, okay, Facebook's ads are not just really performing like they used to with this Apple update. Maybe I would be better served with getting the word out a different kind of way, sharing it with influencers. But the problem is I only had a prototype, so I couldn't share with people that could review it and things like that to get the word out. So I was really heavily relying on my own organic audience and Facebook ads, and the quality of finding people that are really invested is, I think, much harder than like when I had my meditation cushion business. Spending money on Facebook ads was kind of like a no-brainer, and I didn't have any issues. Whereas here I felt like I got people maybe that were interested but not ready to pledge, or maybe not interested in Kickstarter. They want to maybe buy their planner right away. So there's all those layers to that as well. But the point is to listen to my intuition and take more calculated risks. So I felt like I took lots of risks. Like I said, spent a lot of money on photo shoots and Facebook ads, and I don't think I really I knew the risks, and I had a lot of hope about it. When I say lean into more calculated risk, I guess what I mean is to test and see, and then really listen to those metrics when it came to pivoting versus continuing to test in a way that doesn't allow me to stop and regroup. So having, like, I guess more than taking calculated risk, of taking breaks so that I can better calculate the risks that I'm continuing to take, right? So I calculated my risk beforehand when I had this rosy perspective, but I never stopped and along the way, and it's like, is this still worth it? Is this going in the direction that I want it to go? Or am I just keeping going with more hope than I am data, if that makes sense? Because there were a few numbers that had a lot of good numbers, a lot of good signals, which made me believe in it, that I was going to meet my goals so much. But there were two things that I should have maybe paused data wise and said, okay, how's this going? But I have no regrets. These are all just lessons that I want to take as I continue to try to manifest this goal. Because if you watch my last video about keeping faith as you manifest goals or keeping hope alive, this is just one stepping stone to my greatness of wanting to bring this project to life. And I'm going to continue on, manifesting this, and I want to practice what I preach. So I want to really take these challenges and take this, Kickstarter unsuccess, because I don't want to say failure. I'm like, restructure it, girl. I'm going to take this Kickstarter unsuccess and really learn it. I'm going to squeeze that lemon, baby, as much as I can learn from this. And hopefully this is helping you too. So what I'm doing to move forward, let's talk about that a little bit. I am going to offer I'm not going to go back to a printable, I don't think. But what I am going to do is offer it in a more accessible way. Maybe that's not up to the exactly envision of how I want to design, but it still looks good, still looks like minimal, on brand, something people can be proud of to carry, and offer it that way, because the content of the planner, which is the most important part, I still want people to have access to, and I still want people to be able to use it and not have to print it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then in the background, relaunch the one that I actually envisioned designing, taking into consideration everything I've learned. I'm going to put a quiz and the feed in my Facebook group, the Modern Ambition Facebook group, to get feedback on other things I might need to change to make it more successful. If you guys have any ideas of what's most important to you in a planner, please leave it below, or the size that you prefer in a planner, please leave it below. That would help me out a lot. More accessible price-wise option, then relaunching it next year in the way that I envisioned, going for it again with everything that I've learned. And then I would say the most important lesson of what I learned from this whole Kickstarter experience is that my planner works, that it actually really, really works, because I have been using it this whole time to keep hope alive, to keep faith alive, to keep going and towards this goal rather than giving up. So I know firsthand that actually having this planner, not only did it keep me on track with the logistics of the project of managing this Kickstarter, but it kept me on track in my mind to keep going before, during, and after. So I know that it's something that works, and I know that it's going to help me continue manifesting this goal. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening and taking the time to sit and experience this process, this journey with me. I so appreciate you tuning in and hearing my story. If you, like I said, if you have any suggestions, please just leave them below. And if you want to be updated on the relaunch of the Modern Ambition Planner, be sure to click the link in the description below as well. Until next time, namaste and cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. See you next time.